guys, you're welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share how I made this gown for a client. So the video won't be like fully detailed, but trust me, it will be detailed. Okay, so hi guys, my name is Fatima Aisif and all this for my share. So in tutorials, if this is something like to learn, let's get to it. So I have cut out my piece, measured my client length, added additional allowance, and 2 pieces for back and front. And for this particular one, I'll be folding in the allowance, so it's a fully lined boubou gown. So I have 2 pieces, I've ironed them, folded them, right? And then one of it, I'm going to mark 2 inches for my zipper and my pleat, overlap slit allowance. Then this is the corner, I'll just place it on it, make sure that it starts from that my 2 inches. Then I'm going to go ahead and mark my neckline. The width I used was 3 inches, and then I went down 2 for back and then 3 for front. Then I'll just do a shoulder slope using 1 inch, and from the shoulder I marked 24. You can mark any length you want, right? And then on that my 24, I will just go ahead and impute 16 inches and I took it straight down. So you can just divide your hip by 4, then you add 4 to 5 inches allowance, right? Because your line is at the hip line, because I use 24. So I'll just go ahead and cut out my piece. I'll cut out the back neckline first, then when I'm done, I'll just lift it up and cut the front neckline, although they are the same type of neckline but different measurement, right? So after doing that, I'll just go to the other side and I'll cut out this part, the down part. Sorry, you cut out your shoulder slope. The shoulder slope is actually optional, it's not compulsory, please. And if you want to use shoulder slope, you shouldn't do it at this point. You should do it after adding addition to the fabric, because this fabric we have in addition. But in case you're not adding addition to the sleeve length, you can cut your shoulder slope. So I'll just cut out this part out, right? And then when I'm cutting, because of that 2 inches for the zipper allowance on the back piece, the front will be more than the back by 2 inches. So you need to cut that off. So you see, I'll just turn it and you see we have the excess here. I'll go ahead and cut that off, and then the under parts that I cut out, I added it to complete my sleeve length. So it depends on how long you want it to be, how wide you want the upper body to be. So I stitched the pieces to the 4 sides, right? And then I'll just trim off the down part. And after I was done, I used my freehand to form the cowl effect. If you've been watching my video, forming this cowl effect won't be a thing to do. So I cut that part out, right? Then now I removed my zipper bulging allowance, since I'll be putting a zip, and then I also cut out piece for my overlap slit, because it's going to have overlap slit, not just an open slit. So you measure the distance, the length you want. I use 22 in my own case, and then for the wideness is 5 inches, because there are 2 pieces. The back is splitted into 2, so you'll be needing 2 pieces. That'll make it 10. And then you can add stitching allowances. You'll be stitching into the main body, since we didn't cut the overlap slit together with the body. So now this is my front piece, and then I bought this fabric. The vendor called it Oh Baby. I don't know if that's the real name. So I bought 1.5 yard, but 1 yard would have been enough, but I just wanted to be on a safer side. So I used that to create the stencils on the boubou. So I'll just fold it into 2. I'll create my columns or rows in any way you're viewing the video. So I created 5, right? But I used 4 at the end. So I used distance. I made the first one to be a little bit not wide as the rest, as if you can see. I can't really remember the measurements I used, because I made this few months back, right? But you can, for the first one you can use 10, the second one you can use 12, you can use 15, depends on the length you want the stencils to be. So I did that, right? And I'll just create my stencils. I was not able to capture all the processes. It was for a client, and I don't really have much time to be creating tutorials using client fabric, so that's why. So I created columns or rows, depends on how you are viewing my video. So I marked it, I measured, I calculated, divided, equal, so I can have equal boxes, right? So I'll just create my boxes. After creating boxes, then I'll form my stencils. So you can actually freestyle, you can do any type of style you want for this particular part. Yeah, so what I did was I made the length to be different, or will I say the depth to be different. But when you watch the video carefully, I didn't speed it up, you get to understand what I did, right? So to get different shape, different lengths of the shape I'll be using. So that was what I did. I did this for all. I used different measurements for all, because I didn't use exactly the same thing all through. I did different things. You just use any measurements you want. Just imagine what you want to get. You can I feel like you can even do it without creating the columns or the rows. You can just use your chalk and just create shapes, you understand, to make it come out nice. You can do like flame effects, different thing, anything you want to do. So I did this for all. Like I said, I used four pieces. I had one left at the end. So I did what I can do. I cut it out and then I got something like this. And I told you I didn't use same measurements all through. So some came out like this, some came out differently. And then this was for the upper one, but the other side I had to do the stencils or the shape, sorry, the sharp shape at up and down. So you have to just measure. You have to create your own effect the way you want it to do. So in the middle, I left 0.5 inch in the middle because there will be something else in the middle. So this is it. I'll be using my emming tape or emming gum, that one, the one I told you guys that they sell in yards. Yeah, this one. So that's what I used to stitch them to the fabric, and then I took it to my embroiderer. I created the embroidery, and I had difficulty removing the paper gum, so I didn't remove everything. So this was it when he did the embroidery for me. So I didn't stitch the fabric to the Ankara fabric. He used his machine to like do the embroidery, so that actually helped to stick it, to safeguard the edges. And then I cut out lining, same thing. I already turned the down part. As you can see, I stitched the sides. I did not stitch the shoulder part. I stitched the neckline, right? And I left some part on stitch around the cowl effects. You can actually do that at the down part instead of the cowl effect side. So I did the same thing for the back. I did not stitch the shoulder. I stitched the neckline. So I'll show you guys how to join the shoulder together. I'll just go ahead and place each piece for each side, for the back piece. And after I'm done doing that, I'm going to be stitching the shoulder together. So now you place it, right? The shoulder, make sure your neckline are equal. That's the main thing here. Then after you're done doing that, I left some part of the cowl effect, cowl curve on stitch at the front piece. So now I'll place this inward like this, right? So as you know, as you place it now, the fabric is facing, the Ankara is facing each other, the lining is facing each other. Good. So now that place that I left on stitch around the curve, I'm going to put my hand inside so that I can go through the front piece. So like I said, you can make that on stitch part to be a damper. Then I'll use that one to draw the shoulder of the back piece inside in such a way that I'm also drawing the front piece inside also. Just watch my hand movement, you get it. So after that, I've drawn it out, and then I have the right face of the Ankara fabric for back and front meeting, and the lining also meeting. So I stitched it using 0.5, and then you just push it out back, right, using that place that you left on stitch. And that's how you can easily join your shoulder of your boubou together, and you're going to get a neater result. So this is it. I'll just go ahead, pull the edges out, and then I'll give it a good iron press. And that's what I did for both sides, right? Very good. So after doing that, this is just me showing you guys the result. This was it. This was how it looks like. And then the next thing is I'm going to join the bodies together, add my overlap slits that I want to add. So this is what I'm going to do. I will just go ahead and measure what I have for the wideness of the down parts of my front piece, right? I'm going to measure what I have, so that will guide me on what to stitch on my back piece. So I had 25.5, right? So now I'm going to join the two pieces of the back together. I'll measure what I have on my front piece at the down parts. That will aid me to know the allowance I'll be removing, right? So I'll just fold them together like so, and then I'm going to measure the down part. Sorry, my LED light went off. The charger is bad, so I'm using light, and the battery went off. So I'll just make sure they align, right? I'm on the right spot, and I'll just measure what I have on the back piece and then deduct the allowance I'll be deducting, so I can have equal whiteness with the front. So that's what I'll just mark. That's what I'm taking note here. After doing that, I'm going to use that to join the back together. So if you measure, if you see that the excess you have is 2 or is 1, you know what to stitch at the back piece. So when stitching the back piece, remember to stitch. I measured my zip allowance, right? I stitch from up to the down part using loose stitch. I top stitch when I got to where my zip will stop, and then I stitch. So I stitch the sides together, right? The down part of the cowl boubou together. That was why I used that wideness to guide me. So I stitched the zipper allowance and then down, and I just stitch in those directions. I hope you can see it. Very good. So now I'll go ahead, I'll measure what I want for my sleeve opening, and I'll just stitch in this direction. Then I'll stop at my sleeve opening. You can start from where your sleeve opening stop and then just take it to meet the down part. So I've done that. I created a bias with my fabric because it's not really necessary, but my clients wanted this style. But you can just leave your round neckline. So I'll just use the bias on my fabric. What I did was, instead of starting to stitch on the right face, I stitch on the wrong face. That's the lining part of my boo, and then I'll just take it back. So the bias that I did will now show at the front face of my dress, right? So that's what I did. My zip, and then I finished my overlap slit. I'll be dropping a link for the overlap slit in my description box. You see how I did that. So now this was what my client, my embroidery, I see the embroidery he did. So I went ahead and stone each circle. All the sides are closed, right? So you can leave it like that, and you can as well shape it because there is a zip. So I repeated my client's bust and waist. For the stitching of the shape, right, I'll leave a link in the description box. You see the bubble I made. You see how I did the imputing the measurement and stitching on it, right? So thanks for watching. If this video has been helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, drop your comment, subscribe to my channel, turn on your notification bell, and I'll see you guys in another video.